The following information, material, and content is covered under fair use. This is for training and educational purposes only, for teaching and commenting in a classroom setting. Again, this is for training and educational purposes only. This does not constitute tax advice, legal advice, nor financial advice. If you need any applicable advice, please seek competent counsel. Do your own due diligence regardless of who presents the information. All rights, titles, and actions or interests reserved ab initio without prejudice. Hey everyone, it's B with To Be Fruitful Training Group. All praises to the Most High. And today we're going to be going over the third part of Britannia in America, covering Londinium and later its modern name, Augusta. So, covering this same article out of Heritage Daily. So it states here, Londinium is the name given to the Roman city, now occupied by the city of London, that contains the historic center and primary central business district of London. Now, I want to take a second to kind of go over this, take note. So it states here, London is the name given to the Roman city, which is occupied by the city of London. So there's no continuity between the city of London and Londinium. They're two totally separate cities. The city of London is the city occupying the original Londinium, which is the Roman Britannian city here in America. The city of London is over there, all across the waters. So that's just something to note. So it was destroyed, I believe, once or twice and rebuilt subsequently. So we've already discussed Londinium, Colchester. We've already discussed Aboracum, which is York, England, or New York. And now we're covering Londinium. So one of the things about Londinium is that its name was changed. Now, they hold in this document that it was eventually called Londonburg. This isn't its official name once it was changed. So, out of Charlton's Web, we have Londinium, also known as Roman London, was the capital of Roman Britain during most of the period of Roman rule. Most 21st century historians think that it was originally a settlement established shortly after the Claudian invasion of Britain on the current site of the city of London. Where is the current city of London? The British Isles, Isles Britannica, over in Europe. But some defend an older view that the city originated in a defensive enclosure constructed during the Claudian invasion in 43 AD. And don't mind the timelines. The timelines, we'll go over that in a later video. So it says it was set at a key ford at the River Thames. And I'm going to skip down here. Actually, here we go. It had probably largely recovered within about a decade. During the later decades of the 1st century, Londinium expanded rapidly, becoming Britannia's largest city, and it was provided with large public buildings such as the Forum and Amphitheater. By the 2nd century, Londinium had grown to perhaps 30,000 to 60,000 people, almost certainly replacing Londinium, Colchester, we covered that on a previous video, as the provincial capital. And by the mid-2nd century, Londinium was at its height. Its Forum Basilica was one of the largest structures north of the Alps when Emperor Hadrian visited Londinium in 122. So, Hadrian visited this city, which is important. There's a connection there. Continuing, I'm going to cover the status. So it states, Londinium grew up as a vicus and soon became an important port for trade between Roman Britain and the Roman provinces on the continent. Tacitus wrote that at the time of the uprising of Boudicca, quote, Londinium, though undistinguished by the name of colony, was much frequented by a number of merchants and trading vessels, end quote. So here we go in later. The city seems to have been the seat of the diocesan vicar and one of the provincial governors following the Diocletian reforms around 300. It had been renamed Augusta, a common epithet of provincial capitals, by 368. Continuing with another source, we have ChatGPT. And ChatGPT maintains it was the early 2nd century AD that the change occurred under Emperor Trajan. However, Londinium continued to be commonly used, and Augusta gradually fell out of favor. So I asked it to give us a little bit more information. And it states, this paper explores the renaming of Londinium, the Roman settlement in Britain, to Augusta. By examining historical sources and archaeological evidence, we will uncover the motivations, key figures, and implications of this renaming. This analysis includes a detailed review of primary and secondary sources, including inscriptions, historical texts, and scholarly interpretations. 1. Introduction, overview of Londinium, significance of the renaming. 2. 3. Renaming process, Emperor Trajan's role, the name change of Londinium to Augusta, sources and evidence, implications, etc. Alright. So it states here, Londinium, established as a major Roman settlement in Britain, underwent a significant transformation in the early 2nd century when it was renamed Augusta. This paper examines the historical context, key figures, and implications of this renaming. Londinium was founded around AD 43 during the Roman conquest of Britain. It quickly grew into a bustling city and became a central hub for trade and administration. By the early 2nd century, the city's importance warranted changes in its administrative status and name. The renaming of Londinium to Augusta is attributed to Emperor Trajan. His reign is noted for substantial administrative and infrastructural reforms across the Roman Empire. The renaming to Augusta was part of a broader Roman practice of honoring emperors and solidifying imperial authority. Augusta was a title reflecting the emperor's grandeur and was used to emphasize loyalty and devotion. Historical texts. Roman historians such as Tacitus and Suetonius provide contextual information about Trajan's policies and renaming of cities. Although they do not specifically mention Londinium's renaming, their works help frame the broader administrative practices of the time. The renaming of Londinium to Augusta underscored the city's enhanced status within the Roman Empire. It had implications for local administration, signifying a closer relationship with the imperial center. The change also impacted the city's cultural and social dynamics, aligning it more closely with Roman traditions and governance. So we have Augusta, Georgia. Now, Augusta is a city in Georgia. Georgia is a British colony. So there's British influence over this area. One of the first things it mentions is the Augusta Museum of History includes exhibits on golf and James Brown. So it's interesting to note that it's, talking about golf, which is something historically associated with the Scottish, and which is known to be associated with the United Kingdom. But moving forward, Augusta, Georgia. So there's a national golf club in Georgia, Augusta. There are other things involved that make this city notable. Now, it states here, Augusta was established in 1736 and is named in honor of Princess Augusta of Saxe-Gotha, the bride of Frederick, Prince of Wales, and mother of the British monarch George III. During the American Civil War, Augusta housed the principal Confederate powder works. Internationally, Augusta is best known for hosting the Masters golf tournament each spring. So, London, over in the British Isles, is known for its golf, at least being associated with it. Now, Augusta has ties to that as well, with the Augusta National Golf Club. So, it's right next to the Savannah River, and it's associated with British monarchies. Another important note, the city experienced the Augusta Fire of 1916, which damaged 25 blocks of the town and many buildings of historical significance. It's also something of, importance. There were quite a lot of fires, especially around the 1914 to 1917 time frame, during the early 20th century. Specifically in those middle teen years, there were quite a number of fires over, a bunch of American cities. So, I'll touch on that with other cities in the future. But that's just something to, take note of. As a major city in the area, Augusta was a center of activities during Reconstruction and after. In the mid-20th century, it was a site of civil rights demonstrations. So, it's very key to note, this is a key city that they changed, the story regarding with the Reconstruction. Now, everyone's aware of Hyde Park over in the city of London. Well, it turns out Londinium, or the city, known as Augusta today, has its own Hyde Park. So they've, it seems they've had scandals in regards to contamination, and toxicity in the area. So it has its own Hyde Park. It has its own golf, clubs, and it's known for that. The other thing is, it has its own Westminster Schools of Augusta, Georgia. So they have their own Westminster, they have their own Hyde Park, and it was renamed Augusta, unlike the city of London over in the British Isles. It's also very important to note that Westminster has its own university in Utah. Now, the Westminster in Augusta, Georgia is currently not a college, it's a preparatory school. The Westminster in Salt Lake City, Utah, this is a college, but its building looks like a castle. It's from, safe to say, about the 1600s. You see very, very old architecture using brick designs that most people wouldn't be able to duplicate today, at least not to the quality and standard that these buildings were most likely originally made in. This particular style is much older than what people talk about. It's almost akin to like some things like Washington D.C. and the Egyptian buildings they have over there made out of red brick. Something to just kind of keep in mind. This building looks a little bit Harry Potter-ish, but it's definitely something associated with an old British castle style. And another key thing is that the London Bridge over in the British Isles is not the original. The original London Bridge, for which the song, the London Bridge is falling down, is the very same bridge, which is now located in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. This is the original bridge. It was supposedly moved over here. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But it's funny that the original London Bridge is here in America. It makes you question whether it was ever over in the British Isles in Europe. And again, let's see what Charleston's Web has to say about it. It states London Bridge is a bridge in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. When it was built in the 1830s, it spanned the River Thames in London, England. In 1968, the bridge was purchased from the City of London by Robert P. McCullough. However, McCullough only had the exterior granite blocks from the original bridge cut and transported to the United States for use in the construction of a new bridge. So, supposedly they moved it over here during that time frame. But it's just kind of funny that the original London Bridge isn't in the City of London in the British Isles. Chances are this bridge was most likely from the original Londinium. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Please like, comment, subscribe. Share this with other people that you know. If you'd like to support this channel directly, you can do so through Cashapp. Any donations can be sent to BL2BFruitful. Any donations over $50 will receive access to 2B Fruitful Training Group's private library. And again, thank y'all for watching. This is B with 2B Fruitful Training Group. All praises to the Most High, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank y'all.